Hello and welcome to, I think we're on 4 now, right? Episode 4.
I'm not keeping track of it.
It's probably my job too. Worst wrestling ever. I'm Sage. This is my broadcast partner, Fox. And we are going to talk about the 2001 pay-per-view WWF Invasion.
Now, a little backstory of why I suggested this one going in. It's like, this isn't necessarily going to be like a terrible event. I just remember that the invasion angle as a whole was not executed well. I mean...
Yeah, I probably, honestly, if we were doing that, in hindsight, it probably would have been better to watch, I think it was the Survivor Series that was the actual end.
Yes.
But, hey.
This was the inaugural start.
Yes. One of the things that confused me about it, though, was they kept saying that this event was going to change sports entertainment, and this would be the deciding factor, which I remember when I originally watched this, way back when I was a younger man.
Yes.
I thought this was the end of the invasion, and it turns out it went on another, however many months.
Yeah, this was the inaugural. This was the start. They had like little hints building up to it. It's like all of a sudden, honestly, the build up to this event was actually pretty good. We just had random WCW and ECW people show up out of nowhere and just attack people. And no one really knew what was going on until Shane McMahon made his announcement.
Yeah.
That I own WCW now, and screw you, Dad. And then Steph went like, I own ECW, and screw you, Dad.
Because nothing says extreme like Stephanie McMahon Helmsley.
I mean, in fairness, she still did own Paul Heyman.
Yeah, it's just fun.
But
you want to start the show?
Yeah.
So we start with Lance Storm and Mike Awesome. And Lance Storm cutting... I love the Lance Storm. If I could be serious for just a moment...
They knew he was less energetic than most superstars, and they played into it.
Lance Storm's talent was always in the ring, not on the mic. So they kind of let him be that person until they made him dance.
They did an incredible job at being able to... him being able to sell being boring, though.
Yeah.
He had to have some kind of charisma to pull that off. But yeah.
And then during his, he was listing all the reasons this would be, Edge and Christian come out. And I had forgotten about the You Think You Know Me theme. The You Think You Know Me. You know?
The actual one.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept that opening.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I liked You Think You Know Me. The actual song.
But, yep, so we had...
It was a pretty good match in general.
I enjoyed it. It was kind of scary when Christian did that little leapfrog plancha and caught his foot on the ropes.
Yeah, that wasn't meant to happen.
Yep, I thought it was a great match.
And of course, you know, Mike Awesome is one of those big wrestlers that I don't have a particular taste for, but he was fine.
Yeah.
And with the talent of the rest of the 3 Canadians, that wound up making up for anything Mike Awesome might have lacked.
Mike Awesome actually is really good at doing high-fly stuff. I just wonder if WWE didn't, tell him to tone it down because...
It's entirely possible.
You know, Vince McMahon likes his big guy wrestle like big guy.
Yes.
But yep, wins with a very rare Christian spear for the victory. Because I think it was Awesome had him up, or had him up in an electric chair, and then Mike Awesome had him for a powerbomb, and Christian speared him out and Edge landed on him, and
yeah.
And I want to say the promo after that, hearing Vince McMahon say that Edge and Christian totally reek of awesomeness was cringe. Almost as cringe as a 40-year-old man saying cringe.
Yeah, I do that. I pick up on the young people slang, and I do it. I know.
Not only was it cringe, it was cringe AF.
Yes, it was that.
But it was still a perfectly good promo.
But yeah, it was worse from Vince. That sort of talk was worse from Vince. But like 75% things of anything Vince says was cringe.
Yeah.
So, in not necessarily the same way that we use cringe.
Right.
It's the more you know about Vince.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway. Then we had Nick Patrick versus Earl Hebner, the Battle of the Refs.
Yeah. Oof. With special guest referee Mick Foley.
Which was probably the better call.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I guess really Mick Foley would have strong ties to both WWF and ECW.
Yeah. But the ref behind the Montreal Screwjob wound up winning the match, making 2 wins in a row for WWF.
I think it was JR who said, "This is not going to be a pretty match, I'll tell you that." It's like, thanks for the warning, JR, because it was not.
It certainly wasn't a spectacle, no.
Oof, it was. I've seen worse. I've seen worse matches. I've seen worse matches from wrestlers, but it was not great.
Okay, moving on. I believe they had a freak out segment because they were going like, "Oh my god!"
We had Deborah and Sarah, who at the time was Undertaker's wife, talking about DDP. And I had to make a note about that because of how sad their desperate attempt to try to convince everyone that DDP was a heel, because he was like one of the big faces in WCW, and they're like, "No, we have to make him a villain somehow. He's stalking Undertaker." And
when really, they didn't need to do that. All they really needed to do was have DDP be DDP, because we're going into this with the idea that WWF are the heroes.
Right.
So you really didn't have to do anything other than this is an opposition force. And
honestly, I do think they were just desperately worried that
No. Okay.
We're just desperately worried that fans are going to cheer DDP. But anyway.
They were always too scared to let the audience like what they like.
Yeah.
They wanted to paint this narrative that the WWF were the heroes in this situation, so there was no other side that was...
Yep.
Anyway, so... APA versus Palumbo?
Yep. APA,
and O'Hare.
Yes, APA versus the Natural Born Thrillers. Chuck Palumbo and... fuck. It's Sean O'Hare and... Yeah, Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo.
Yes.
And once again, I like this match. It was very hard-hitting.
I will say I actually did too. There were 4 big guys, but I wasn't bored in any way. Because the APA... They're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And O'Hare, pretty good. Palumbo, he's okay.
But yeah, it was, the 4 of them were just in there, just putting it into each other.
As I believe Wade Barrett would put it. No, I'm sorry. Wade Barrett says something else. But Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling? Is that? They were just 4 big men slapping man meat.
Yeah, basically. And the APA win.
APA making 3 wins for the WWF in a row. And then they had another segment where they showed the Alliance locker room, and they're freaking out.
Yep. Because although, like, did it really matter? Like, at the end of the day?
We were supposed to believe it would. And they went like, "Billy Kidman, you have to win this. We have to turn around. We have to get a win. Do this. Watch out. Watch out for X-Pac." And Billy Kidman's like, "Dude, I'm awesome. I've got this." Which led us, of course, into the Cruiserweight match.
Yeah.
Between X-Pac and Billy Kidman.
I just want to make this note real quick.
Yeah.
X-Pac's X Factor theme that you do with the X, that is so bad. That could be one of the worst themes. Honestly, if it's for worst wrestling ever, this theme fits that. Because that theme is so bad.
I'll be honest with you. I think I kind of spaced out during his entrance.
Yeah. But anyway, yep.
But yes, the match itself was a cruiserweight classic.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot there were ways to get out of the ring other than a plancha.
Right.
But Billy Kidman, like, baseball slid out and, like, pulled X-Pac along as he did so. And it was actually... I liked it.
But X-Pac made a fatal error. You can't powerbomb Kidman. Because the one point where he tried to put Kidman in the... Tried to powerbomb Kidman, and Kidman put him in the Kidman cutter, his version of the X Factor.
Yeah.
And then 7-year itch, Kidman draws first blood for WC.
Well, it was a baseball slide bulldog.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was the first win for WCW.
Kidman draws first blood for ECWCW.
Like the next one I had not been keeping track of the segments. I don't know if you had.
Only ones I had actual notes for.
So the next one I had was Raven versus William Regal.
Yep. And to counter the thing about X-Pac, I love Regal's, that noble theme that... Mm-hmm. I haven't put a little heart there. One of the things I noticed watching these matches, and it's so much what is wrong with modern wrestling, the wrestlers are allowed to pace these matches the way they want. It's not just on 100 miles an hour at start. Because this one you had like Raven, doing, countering and shifting, and then like Regal's like doing his kind of brawler ground and pound thing, and it's like paced so differently than the previous match, but it's still really good because it fits the two wrestlers.
Regal was surprisingly intense here for me.
Mm-hmm.
And after a run-in by Taz, Raven won.
Yes, and I am surprised to see this is the first run-in of the night.
Yeah, if this was modern wrestling, they would have had like 5 by now.
And then the next match I have is Big Show, the One Billy Gunn. I love that theme. I don't care what Billy Zane says. And Prince Albert versus Sean Stasiak, Q Morris, and, well, who better than Canyon?
Chris Canyon, yes.
I went into this being like, oh, this is a WWF gimme match. This is just going to be a squash match for WWF. And I was wrong. This was not a one-sided squash match on WWF's side. Yeah, I thought for sure Big Show was just going to clear Stasiak, Morris, and Canyon.
First off, they had WCW won.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. WCW actually won this match.
I mean, to be fair, they got a post-match beatdown.
Yes, Big Show did clear the ring. I just thought that was going to be the match itself, was Big Show clearing the ring. But yeah, no, WCW won that one. Little shocking.
Taz versus Tajiri.
Yep, Taz versus the fastest mouth in the East, Yoshihiro Tajiri.
After a backstage pep talk with Tajiri.
Yep, where Regal was like, all right, listen here, Taz, get that toe rag. Show him what he gets for running into my match.
Yeah.
And another perfect example of the way of how different these matches were paced, because Taz would just grab Tajiri and just throw him around. Then Tajiri would shift the momentum with like a little bit of speed and start kind of pushing Taz back on his back foot with like rapid fire kicks. Then Taz would catch him again and
suplexes versus kicks.
Yep, and then Green Mist and Tajiri wins.
Yeah, Green Mist, he do that.
I do have this segment where they're at the WWF New York. First of all, I know it's scripted. You know how I know? Who the fuck wants a Hardcore Holly autograph? Who the fuck would be... And also,
I mean, apart from like collector nerds like me, if I had the opportunity, I would have taken an autograph from Hardcore.
I mean, I would too, but it's just funny. I'm like, who? And then some dude walks up. He just got a WCW shirt on.
That's
autograph.
it. And then it's like,
he like
hates you.
And rips his shirt off and throws him out. I'm like, geez, you really are just a fucking bully, aren't you, Hardcore Holly?
Yeah.
But
It was like, you could have done the segment a little bit less mean. It's like, hey, you take that shirt off because here's one you can wear.
Yeah. And with that, you could have plugged Shop Zone.
Yes.
Because that was the thing. Be like, here, get this WWF shirt. It's much better quality than that ugly WCW shirt, and you can get it right off of WWFShopZone.com.
Yeah, that would have been great. It was that. But then we had Jeff Hardy versus Rob Van Dam.
Weird to see evil Rob Van Dam. I am not used to evil Rob Van Dam.
But this is exactly the spot fest I expected. I mean,
it's very much a prototype for the modern era style match.
Yes. I mean, it's exactly the spot fest I expected, and I loved it.
It was I did make a note that when Jeff Hardy did the ride the barricade, he slipped a little bit, and it got really ugly. But honestly, outside of that, yeah, like you said, it was just a good...
If any two wrestlers could pull off a hardcore match, it's these two.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob Van Dam won for ECW and took a belt from WWF.
Yep. 5-star frog splash. Made a belt sandwich with a 5-star frog splash between him and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Also, I made a note for the next segment. Kurt Angle. Such bad language. Because I remember he said something about kicking their asses. I'm like, ooh, sir.
Spicy from Mr. Angle. Where'd that come from?
Up next is the first ever tag team bra and panties match. Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler versus Trish Stratus and Lita.
Now, I remember this as one of my reasons why I suggested this event. Bra and panty matches, time...
Now. This is a technical masterpiece. Bra and panty matches are very, very technical. Yeah, no. And shocker, they got Mick Foley as the ref.
And they made a point of how it was like part of a deal, and he's a very shrewd businessman, or whatever, like, to get that match.
Cool had a great line in here, where he said something about... one of them did a snapmare, and he's like, why am I calling wrestling moves? Like, yeah, why are you calling wrestling moves?
Good point. They're going to be rare and far between.
Lita, Trish, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. It's ironic I have to describe this match as ugly, because it is ugly from a wrestling standpoint. It was bad. I mean, let's be honest. It was only there so people could cheer when Stacy Keibler got her pants pulled off. Like, that's what this match was. To get...
And there are several reasons why I hated bra and panty matches. One of them was these ladies show about as much skin in their normal wrestling outfits.
Right? It's not like there's that much more skin being shown.
It's kind of dumb.
I think if you could hypothetically bring a bra and panties match back, but it would have to just be about one wrestler just absolutely humiliating another one.
Yeah.
It would just have to be like a show of like humiliation to another one. Now, this one wasn't. This was just yay boobies.
There's a weird balance we got right now of it being too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
So I had to open up the robe a little bit.
Yeah,
it just happened
getting hyped up for the bra and panties match.
It just happened to be well timed.
Oh, Lita and Trish win.
Yes.
And inaugural brawl?
Yes, that is the inaugural brawl. There was a fight on the outside before the match even started.
Let's see. The members of the inaugural brawl were the Brothers of Destruction, Chris Jericho, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Kurt Angle.
Versus the Dudley Boys, Rhino, DDP, and Booker T.
I love Booker T's theme.
I have to say, I was surprised it was not in Survivor Series style.
I was too.
It honestly should have been, I think.
Yeah, but I think considering the end of the match, a Survivor Series could have muddied that somewhat.
Yeah.
Because, well, just give the match. I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed it. It was... The problem when you have these 5-on-5 matches, no matter how much time you give them, you do end up with this feeling that some of the people weren't showcased like they should have been.
Yeah.
Like, I think that DDP and Kane kind of got pushed to the backside a little bit in the match. However,
that's one of the things that Survivor Series style would fix, because you get some people all the attention at the beginning, they get eliminated, and then the people who weren't getting attention near the end.
But it's
yeah,
you know, I like Survivor Series matches, but I do acknowledge that with 10 people in a match, it's kind of hard to give all 10 of them the time to shine.
Right.
But I still enjoy the match. Weird to see Vince McMahon as a face, especially in the year 2025.
But this was 2001, so...
Yep.
Now, late 2001, it's interesting, our last video, Russo's Revenge, was also 2001.
Yep.
But real early. So, in that time, WCW went belly up.
Yep. I'm not saying it was because of Russo's Revenge, but it didn't help.
I feel it was that Russo's Revenge was more of a symptom to the actual disease. Anyway, even my final thoughts, if we're at the final thoughts.
We have to talk about the end of the match.
Okay, yes.
Stone Cold Steve Austin betrays the Alliance, and gives Booker T the win for the Alliance. So now we're walking into this with Stone Cold Steve Austin having turned on WWF.
And this upstart invasion thing actually having the upper foot, so that the...
Yep. They actually have a real superstar on their side now. Not those lame old They had over and over again on the show, or the announcers.
How useless these guys are.
Yeah, and they're not like real superstars like WWF, but... as you saw with the finger poke of doom, a lot of those guys are really fucking good. Like,
yeah. So if we're at our final thoughts,
I think we're at the final thoughts now.
Ultimately, in conclusion, I feel that even if the Invasion storyline as a whole was bad, this inaugural pay-per-view was actually pretty good. Some of the big WCW names were unavailable until later. That was contract thing.
Yep.
But with what they had, I think the Alliance did really well for this event.
Yes. I know one of the people complained that the problem was that the WCW Invasion was like the mid-cards versus the mid-cards, but I can say this personally, especially at this time, I was honestly more interested in seeing the mid-card wrestlers than I was a lot of the big names.
Fair enough.
I was more interested in seeing like the Natural Born Thrillers and the like Billy Kidmans and people like that than I was watching the Stings and the Goldbergs. And I'm a little older and more mature now, and I absolutely do see the appeal of Sting. I never liked Goldberg, never. I was never on the Goldberg bandwagon, and I know now it's like in to hate Goldberg. But I also never liked Goldberg, but I absolutely see why he was as popular as he was in the day. Like, he brought this explosiveness to WCW that they were really lacking at the time, especially considering how many old fogies the company had at the top of the card.
Some people really wanted the contract thing resolved to get some of the bigger WCW stars in there. But from a narrative standpoint, with this event, NWO should not have showed up.
No, I agree.
Not yet.
No. I do kind of see like wanting to have Sting and Goldberg.
Yeah, I could see that.
And Scott Steiner, people like that. But
it's like I could have seen the NWO appearing mid-invasion angle to screw things up for either side. They're in their own thing.
Oh, I could see that too. I think what WWF actually ended up, or maybe it was WWE at the time, because we are right here on the cusp of the letter change.
They get the F out, yeah.
But I think what they did was an interesting idea that just failed so hard. The WWF NWO.
Yeah, I ultimately
thing.
thought it was a good idea, just done poorly.
But anyway, that's it. You want to play a game real quick? Pick a card. So the next show we are going to do is WCW Uncensored 1995.
That's going back quite a ways.
That is going back quite a ways. I found a bunch of what are considered the worst wrestling shows.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Put them on note cards. Because if anybody know, any of you guys follow me, especially on Letterboxd, you know I love randomly assigning these things. So, WCW Uncensored 1995. You can't read that, but take my word for it. I did not cheat. Anyway, guess we'll see you next month on our next premium live event, as they're called now. Anyway, we'll see you next time, and
We'll see you in the ring.